Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank you. I want to thank the gentleman from Alabama. I want to thank the minority party for it's just 10 after 12 by the clock of the House, and I know this is a long process. We have more to do tomorrow. I appreciate all parties allowing the House to work its will. I rise to offer an amendment tonight on behalf of the Republican Study Committee and myself to reduce the overall funding levels contained in the Homeland Security by 10%, with the exception of funds for ensuring the security of our nation's borders. This would save, Mr. Chairman, $2.5 billion. Our country is on the brink of a fiscal crisis. As Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff has stated repeatedly, our debt is the greatest threat to our national security. Not citizens going through our airports, not what appears to be 3 wars now we've involved ourselves in. Our debt is the greatest threat to our national security. We need to ensure that our tax dollars are spent wisely and efficiently, especially when it comes to protecting our nation. Unfortunately, the Department of Homeland Security is not an exception when it comes to examples of government waste. The Department of Homeland Security must focus its resources more effectively. In their short history, they have become inherently wasteful, creating programs that do not make our nation any more secure. And they're not unlike any bureaucracy that's come before it. A recent audit by the Defense Contract Audit Agency found 32 contracts collectively worth $34.3 billion that have been plagued by waste, abuse, or mismanagement from 2001 through 2006. If we pass this amendment and force an across-the-board cut, DHS will be forced to analyze its programs more effectively and become a more efficient agency as a result. Now, Mr. Chairman, I don't speak tonight out of mere opinion. I speak tonight out of experience. You see, I used to run a bureaucracy. I used to run a bureaucracy that ran on $1987 unadjusted for inflation, and we had good result. In my former Securities Division alone, because of great people, we got 300 years of jail time awarded and over $52 million of restitution. The government can do more with less on all levels, and that includes the Department of Homeland Security. DHS funding needs to be reconfigured, focusing on protecting targets that are legitimate terrorist threats rather than dispersing funds on a per capita basis. That's a wasteful, inefficient, and ineffective way to do things. Secondly, DHS must redefine its mission and focus on what its original purpose was, protecting the homeland from terrorist attacks. As we approach its 10th anniversary, no longer does DHS focus solely on homeland security. They now focus on mass casualty events, totally unrelated to terrorism, like natural disasters. Firefighter and cops funding, once funded locally on the state and local level, is funded through grants by the federal government. And while no member of this body will contend they are not vital to our communities, these programs that federal tax dollars are paying for are not federal responsibility under our Constitution, and for a very good reason. We need to start making tough decisions, Mr. Chairman. This amendment builds upon the work of the Appropriations Committee in reducing spending, but I believe it can go further, and I reserve the balance of my time.